Good morning, everybody. I'm Bart Winkler. Ryan Horvat is here. Welcome into the Winklerverse. We're brought to you by Happy Place Hemp. Promo code is Bart at the checkout. We do our NFL picks against the spread. I don't really keep track. Horvat does. He makes a lot of money. I don't really actually bet. I did a DraftKings lineup last week that got fucking slaughtered.
I was gonna say you do bet though. That's included in betting and wagering.
This week I'm stacking Panthers, so that'll be a disaster.
Well, no, don't do that to yourself.
Oh yeah. And last night I made a lineup. I thought the Jets would run a lot. I thought the Patriots would run a lot. That did not happen. The guy to play was Aaron Rodgers. And as I was on the air, I'm breaking down this Jets team, and I don't want them to be good. I don't want them to be good. But it's not because of Aaron Rodgers anymore. That year off was everything for me, because now I watch Aaron Rodgers succeed, and I'm not happy. I'm not mad. I'm undaunted. It's like it's like he was never even my guy. The number change went a long way. The guy I don't like is Robert Saleh, and I would like to give you.
Well, Rodgers doesn't like him either.
I know. Here's my description. Here's how I described Saleh last night. You know, when you grow up, you like run with a pack of neighborhood kids. Mm-hmm. I had like 8 people on my block, roughly the same age. You could go outside, 3 of them would be out there. Like you were always playing. You were always able to do something. And you had like a group. But then there was always this other kid with you from like 4 blocks over who no one knew how he got there. He wasn't invited, but he thought he was a part of the team. Sometimes he thought he was the most important part of the team. It's clear the Jets are doing all of this independent of Robert Saleh. He is the kid from 4 blocks away. But your boy Aaron Rodgers, great last night.
So Saleh's good running a defense, though. The problem is Nathaniel Hackett stinks. But yeah, nobody wants to hear me talk about Aaron Rodgers. I'll say this though, man.
I think today they might actually do.
Well, the first 2 weeks of the season, I was like a little bit worried that he was even going to be able to move like in the pocket, because he kind of looked like a statue. But last night he had that bounce. He left the pocket a couple times. He was making throws on the run. I am cheering for Aaron Rodgers. If the Packers don't win the Super Bowl, I want the Jets to win the Super Bowl. That would be my second choice. I love Aaron Rodgers. Everybody knows that. But I like watching him play
football. I see a picture of his head right behind you on the YouTube.
I enjoy watching him. I enjoy watching him play football. Last night, that was fun. That was awesome. Allen Lazard out there catching touchdowns. I'm all for it. I cheer for former Packers wherever they go, though. Like, as much as I hate Minnesota, I'm cheering for Aaron Jones. I don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want to see him fumble in big spots. I want to see him succeed. It's a business at the end of the day. Like, as a kid, I'd be like, oh, Aaron Jones is in Minnesota. I hope he snaps his effing leg. And then you grow up and you're like, well, I don't want that to happen to him. He's a good dude and he's got a family and he's just playing the sport that he loves. And he would have preferred to be in Green Bay, as Aaron Rodgers would have preferred to finish his career.
Yeah, it's different with the quarterbacks. Like,
they moved on. So why do I have to hate Rodgers or Aaron Jones or anybody?
Yeah. All these Giants fans that were like celebrating Saquon's drop the other night.
It's so weird to me.
Like, I would not do that if Aaron Jones dropped a ball in Minnesota. I mean, yeah, you want Minnesota to lose, but the way that they weren't like, haha, screw you Eagles. They were like, haha, screw you Saquon, who wanted, and we saw the phone call.
I'll say this really quick though, dude. Like, it also depends like what kind of career they had and how they left, right? Like Rodgers always said he wanted to finish his career as a Green Bay Packer, right? And then they drafted Jordan Love and it was time for him to move on. And so I don't hate Rodgers, right? Aaron Jones wanted to retire a Packer. Clay Matthews. So, like, those guys, when they go on, I don't hate them. Now, if you're like Zadarius Smith and you pretty much quit on your team and then you go and you're running your mouth, I'm not cheering for you. Then I will cheer if you drop the ball or if you something happens, like everybody loves Brandon Bostic now and stuff. I don't. I'll never forgive him.
I had to look up. I couldn't have told you for $1 million where Clay Matthews played the last year of his career.
Rams, right?
Yeah, I could not have told you that.
He had one decent. His problem was. Well, I'm not going to say. I think all those USC guys were taking roids. I know half
him and Cushing together.
I was going to say I know half of them were because they got popped for it. Maybe Clay just worked really damn hard and gained all.
He had 8 sacks in his final season, 13 games.
Yeah, Clay was a baller. Clay's a I love Clay Matthews. That's what I'm saying, though. Now, Greg Jennings, I cheered for him to drop every freaking pass. I didn't like the way that he left. But most of these guys, I like them as Packers. Devontae Adams. I love Devontae Adams. He's on my fantasy team.
Oh, I have 10 teams, so
I only have 2.
I'm pretty sporadic all over the board. We both have a favorite team. That's the Green Bay Packers. And as we look at some picks, we'll start with them. They've got the Titans this week. As of this posting, probably as of the next day, probably right until kickoff, we don't know for sure if Jordan Love is going to play or not. There is, I think, a large part of us that are, I don't want to say twisted, but like intrigued to see a Malik Willis revenge game against the Titans. But the Titans right now are 3-point favorites.
Yep.
I mean, baked in the possibility that Jordan Love might play.
Yeah.
And also, I think the Titans are pretty bad. I have to. Okay, but now we're in. Okay. Uh-oh. I think Titans theory is dead, by the way. Is that, do we agree?
So yeah, the theory may be dead. I don't think they're bad, though. I think they have one glaring hole or one glaring weakness. I'll talk in a second. Go on.
But he beat out our guy.
Who?
Will Levis.
Who's our guy?
Malik.
Yeah, because Malik freaking sucks, dude. I bet Malik last week because nobody knew what the hell. Like, Indianapolis had no idea what Green Bay was going to do. And I knew Matt LaFleur would be in his bag because even though we get mad at him at times, Matt LaFleur is a top 5 head coach. Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, Schani, all these, all the yuppies, all the football yuppies are awesome, right? Like, does Kyle punt too freaking much on 4th and 1 at midfield? Yeah. Like, is McVay a little bit of a goofball? But they're awesome. They're all really good. And LaFleur, if you give him extra time, me and you, we would have won that game behind center. Like, Malik, look at his ADOT in that game. Like, he wasn't really pushing the ball down the field. He had a couple nice throws. I bet Tennessee on the money line. I don't think Tennessee's a bad football team.
You think Tennessee's going to win this week?
I just think Levis sucks.
So here's where Tennessee would win this week is he will throw interceptions. Problem is Packers drop pick sixes now. That's like part of our thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to definitely drop a Will Levis pick 6.
Like the Titans, I think it comes down to this. If it's Malik Willis, now there's tape on Malik Willis. Now the Titans
got all the tape. The Titans got a library.
Like the Titans should be much better against the run than they've showed the first 2 weeks, and they've been decent. But I think that they'll commit extra guys in the box and force Malik to beat him with his arm and probably just match up their DBs one-on-one in coverage. That's tough to do against Green Bay, though. I'll say that because their wide receivers are so awesome. But if Malik can't get him the ball or he's under pressure, they might be effed. But I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to shut down Jacobs. They're going to shut down the run game and say, beat us with your arm, Malik Willis. And I bet Tennessee, and if it's Jordan Love, I don't want it to be Jordan Love because I don't think that there's any chance that he's close to 100%. And I think Green Bay could, if they lost last week, it's a different story, right? If they're 0-2 right now. But right now, even if you start 1-2, you could win 10 games, I think, and make the playoffs, win 11 games. I don't want to risk Jordan Love's future either for one game against Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like, I have nightmares of RG3, some of these guys playing through injury. We don't want to lose them for the rest of the year because there's a good chance.
You don't think Love's going to play? You're not trending that way.
No, I'm thinking Malik's going to play, and I'm thinking that Tennessee's defense is actually pretty good. Look at these games they've lost. They've lost because Will Levis is a nightmare with the football. Week 1, they had a 17-point lead against the Bears. The Bears didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game. They lost because Will Levis wouldn't stop throwing the ball to the other team and special teams. Week 2, they should have beat the Jets, actually. Will Levis threw up all over himself again. So it was so bad that Brian Callahan, I do have to swear here, because they showed it right on the broadcast. Levis throws this terrible interception. They show Callahan, and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I had money on the Titans +4. And if you cut a video of me on my couch, you would have saw me say, "What the fuck are you doing?" So like it was like the Spider-Man meme. Levis is so bad. But any other stuff,
I love how much disdain Callahan had. Like he doesn't even hide it. He fucking hates this guy.
He said after week 1, if we would have just punted on first and 10, we would have won that game. And he's right, because Tony Pollard's been awesome. And that's what scares me. Green Bay's run defense is still a little bit of a mess. So I think it's going to be like Tony Pollard and Tajee Spears running the ball down our throats. Malik Willis throwing up all over himself. I hate betting against Green Bay. If Jordan Love's the quarterback, Packers by 30.
Well, I hate that you're making a really compelling point to do it.
Yeah, Titans are at home, right? There's more tape now.
Because I think a lot of Packer fans are coming from the angle, well, we won now. We can do it again.
Yeah, that's what makes betting hard, right? I'm gonna bet that I'm gonna go like the market's telling you, like, why is Tennessee a 3-point favorite? Nobody thinks they're good, but they actually are kind of fucking good. The problem is Will Levis is awful. He's bad. That experiment, like, there's certain guys that can't play. Bryce Young sucks. He can't play. I'm sorry, right? Mitchell Trubisky could never play. He sucked. Get him out of there. Justin Fields. Everybody was always like, Sparky would always be like, oh, Horvat, you said Justin Fields was good.
I thought he'd be good.
He is good. He's in an offense right now where he's 2-0, right? Like, he is good. We were right about Justin Fields. He could play. Now, he's not Joe Montana, Steve Young. You're not going to drop him. He's not Aaron Rodgers. You can't drop him back 40 times. But why can't he be Lamar Jackson? Why can't he be, like some of these guys, you just have to put him in the right skill set. Daniel Jones sucks, but he doesn't suck as bad as everybody thinks he sucks. He's throwing to garbage men. His offensive line stinks. Like, last week.
His coach is a 7th grade social studies teacher.
Like, everybody always told me, oh, you were wrong about Sam Darnold. He sucks. Does he? Or did he play for the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Geno Smith. Does he suck? Or
people wrote him off.
And he didn't write back. I have COVID.
I'm going to be Homer and take the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to pick against them. You can at me when they win. And
Are you making this bet now, or do you wait until you know about Love?
I pissed the bet on this one. I went pretty hard on the Titans, thinking that there's no shot that Love's playing and there's no shot Malik's going to look like that. And they're just going to stack the box and say,
you already made the bet.
Yeah, I'm already in on tennis. Much better. I wouldn't bet them at 2.5. This gets to 3. I'll probably bet some Packers. But I bet Titans money line minus 120. Yeah.
All right. Ryan Horvat with the Packer pick.
Later.
We are brought to you by Happy Place Hemp. Promo code is BART, 25% off each and every order. You get your gummies, your tinctures, your balms with the THC, some without, some for the CBD. That helped me the time that the oil, well, it wasn't oil, it was lotion. I was having gout-like symptoms.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was diagnosed gout, but I just rubbed a little of that cream on there and no more gout-like symptoms. I just got in there and rubbed it. I rubbed it so good and got in there. So that's what the CBD does. The CBD CBN helps you go to sleep. And then obviously the THC is
just awesome.
Is good.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Different seltzers, different gummies. Check it all out at happyplacehemp.com. And when you check out, use the promo code BART. It's 25% off everything, every time, no matter how much you use it. Other games here. There are more games. I hate that we're at noon again or 1 o'clock your dumb time, but Giants Browns. So I think the Giants, I think Dable's the first head coach fired. There's a chance that the Giants don't win before not Thanksgiving, but Halloween. The Giants have the Browns and then Cowboys, Seahawks, Bengals, Eagles, Steelers. That being said, I think the Giants are going to be the new benefit of Titans theory.
Yeah.
I think it's now becoming Giants theory. This team fucking sucks. Their coach is awful. I am not confident enough. I've got 6.5 on the Browns.
Right?
No, sir. No, sir. So I will take the Giants to at least cover in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I'm going to wait because I kind of wanted a 7. I think the Giants might win this game. Malik Neighbors broke out week 2, 129 yards through the air. Other than Saquon, Daniel Jones has never really had a playmaker, and Malik Neighbors is awesome. He could legitimately win Rookie of the Year. And, the Browns in current form should not be laying this number. Deshaun Watson, if you look at the numbers last week, okay, he looked all right, but even he averaged 5.5 yards per attempt. I'm not sold on their offense winning this game by margin with all their injuries. They're beat up on the offensive line. Jack Conklin and Jedrick Willis are out. James Hudson right now, 65th out of 71 qualified tackles over at PFF. He's a mess. And they missed Nick Chubb, obviously. Amari Cooper looks like he's either lost a step or him and Deshaun just can't get on the same page. And you got Deshaun Watson right now, 31st in passing success rate. The only quarterback that's lower. Bo Nix! Sean sucks. So, yeah, dude, Giants.
The Bears head to Indianapolis. Indy, a 1-point favorite. Here's where I think the Bears messed up, or Bears fans at least, after not wanting Caleb Williams and then seeing a little bit of him play well in the preseason. Then the Bears all of a sudden went, oh my God, Caleb Williams is great, and we're going to win 11 games. They needed to approach this season like Packers fans did last year. What do we have in Jordan Love? We don't know. We'll find out. And then as the season went forward, Jordan Love was good, and we were very happy. In the beginning, though, we didn't know. When there were some games where we're like, I don't know. Was he good? Was he not? We're charting every goddamn pass.
Yeah.
With the Bears, I think they'll get to that point. Now their line needs to be better. But I think they'll get to the point where they're like, oh, okay, Caleb's good. We're happy. This is fine. Because the same way we were on Justin Fields, I'm continuing to be on Caleb Williams. But I think they lose this weekend.
I'm going to go with the Bears, actually. I think Indianapolis.
The Colts are going to go 0-3.
Yeah, I think they might just be bad, dude. And I like Shane Steichen. I think Anthony Richardson, unfortunately, might be bad. And I say unfortunately, I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't care. He seems like a good kid, though. And I have him as my fantasy quarterback in one league. Luckily, I got Kyler in the other. Woo, Kyler. But I think that they might be bad. And the Bears, I think Caleb's going to play all right this week. And I think the Bears have a pretty damn good defense. I think they might be I think the Bears might get real lucky this year. Like be one of those teams that's top 5 in takeaways.
Like every time the Bears are good, they win bullshit lucky games.
Like don't get mad at me, but I have this weird feeling they may win more games than us. Like since Love's all beat up and like they're going to get these like you know why I think that? Cuz week 1 both weeks Caleb's look like shit and they're 1-1 and they actually covered against the Texans even and they're doing it because of their defense. Again, going back to that Tennessee game, they were down 17-0 at the half. Their first points came because Caleb should have thrown an interception. He threw it into double coverage. It bounced off a dude's helmet, like in Madden when you quit, into Rome's hands. He fumbles. It bounces like 10 yards, and then Tevin Jenkins dives on it, and they kick a field goal, and that's how they get their first points. Then they block a punt. It's like I just feel like they're going to be a lucky-ass team that you hate this year. So I'm going to pick the Bears here.
All right, I took the Colts. But if the Bears, this is going to however the Bears do, that'll decide their season. If they win this game, all right, they're a 10-win team. They're just going to win these fucking games.
Yeah.
And if the Bears lose, okay, maybe 7 or 8. But I do think Caleb's going to be good.
Me too.
It's just a matter of getting there.
Can I say something? Like maybe this is a hot take too. I want him to be good, and I want JJ McCarthy. I want like these divisional games to be good. I mean, it's fun just beating the dog piss out of these teams every single year. It's kind of like my high school, Joliet Catholic, though. Yeah, they go 9-0 every year.
You went to Joliet Catholic? Never knew.
But they're playing like these dog piss teams, like Marist and like, you know what I mean? And they're going out and recruiting in like Bolingbrook and Lockport. They're playing these like other private schools with like 50 kids. Anyway. But that's how I felt about the Packers, with Rodgers. I mean, it was a great run, but then we would step up in class in the playoffs and play a team like the Niners, and it was like seeing a deer in headlights. We'd be like, holy shit, we've never seen a team with talent before and get curbed 48-0 before we made a run in the second half. You know what I mean? And I feel like if we actually played real teams, that wouldn't have been the case. Maybe that's just a hot take. Like, yeah, we beat the Cowboys every year, but then we go against the Niners and they beat the shit out of us. And it's because we're pounding Kirk Cousins twice a year, Mitch Trubisky twice a year, Stafford, but not with like a real team around them. So I kind of want the division to be good, right?
Yeah, there's part of me that agrees with that. Yeah. I think a lot of Packer fans would say no, but it's also, it's fun to get invested in these games.
Yeah, like, I don't want the Bears like ever. I want to continue to.
No, I want them to be good, but I want us to win.
I want them to be like 10-0, and we're 10-0.
I want them to think, finally we're taking on the Packers, and then they lose.
Because, like, hear me out. Like, so like beating the Bears on a Sunday where Aaron Rodgers is just running up to their fans and being like, I fucking own you. Like, that's
old hat.
But you know what was more fun? When we beat him in the NFC Championship game, and Jay Cutler didn't play in the second half, and we're going to the Super Bowl, and they're drinking their sorrows away. And we're celebrating and then beating the shit out of the Steelers 2 weeks later, and they're at home watching us. They're watching the pregame coverage and it's Clay Matthews getting interviewed, not Rex Grossman or whoever, Jay Cutler. Yeah, that feels better. So let them be relevant. So then they get their hopes up And then they get let down, like the Vikings. It's so sweet when they actually are relevant and they get to a championship game. And then there's a hit out on Favre's head and he's throwing picks all over the place. That's more fun than them just being a 6-win team.
You mentioned your high school. I want to talk about my hometown for a second.
Oh, Arrowhead?
Arrowhead.
I don't remember where you went.
Fond du Lac.
Oh, yeah.
I want to show you the most bonkers radio lineup that is out there today. My hometown station where I used to work.
Okay.
KFIZ.
What do we got here?
Where we go from Sean Hannity in the afternoon to the news to KFIC Sports Night with Chuck Freeman.
I'm in on that.
To Mark Levin.
I don't know who that is.
He's like Hannity, only whinier somehow.
Oh, Dave Ramsey's that's a good
Dave
guy.
Ramsey to Bart Winkler. Look at this bonkers lineup.
I love how Freems is in there for a half hour.
Oh, Freems' show is great. He interviews like local legends, and
I'm not gonna lie, I got really excited. I thought that said Nick Van Exel was on at noon.
Nick Van Knocker.
Not as excited.
No, Nick Van Exel's not doing morning radio.
He's a Green Bay Packer fan though.
Yeah, well, he's not doing morning radio in Fondy.
He should be if some of these guys are. Not going to name any names. Butch.
There's another AFC South, NFC North matchup. 3 of them. Vikings at home against the Texans. Vikings a 2-point underdog.
Yeah, Skull.
Do we think the same thing on this game?
I think Minnesota's going to win this game.
Yeah, I think we think the same thing on this game.
I think Minnesota might be the team that we should be worried about, dude. Kevin O'Connell's a really good
I rooted for them to beat the Niners, and that was a mistake.
I don't care. It could be ISIS against the Niners, and I might be rooting for ISIS, dude. I hate that fucking team so much. I do. That's the one team I always will hate.
Now they're all hurt, and Purdy's going to suck so bad.
I told you to bet the Seahawks, man. I told everybody. Just like I said about the Bengals. They've been too healthy the last couple of years. These deep runs, they're not sustainable. Look at the Green Bay Packers, That's why you only get a couple of them. That's why you got to capitalize. Yeah, I think that the Seahawks are going to win that division. But I do think that the Vikings are good. I really don't know that they win the division. I still think that's the Lions. Like, they just had bad luck last week. They went 1 for 7 in the red zone. But Brian Flores right now is in his bag, and I think C.J. Stroud might throw a couple picks in this game. And Justin Jefferson's playing, man. And Texans secondary, not all that great other than Derek Stingley. And I don't even know how good he is. So, yeah, I hate to do it, but let's go.
I'm taking the Vikings along with you. I don't really have a read on this one because I don't know. If you look at the Eagles, the last, 2 games and then back to last year, they've lost 6 of their last 8. But then the Saints, all of a sudden, I thought they were bad, and then they beat up on the Panthers. Okay. But then they beat up on the Cowboys. They're 2.5 favorites against the Eagles. And the Saints, I say this on my show, I'm like, I can't, you guys, I hate the Niners. I tell people that. I hate the Niners, but I have reasons for it. I don't like the Saints, and I'm not sure why. Is it because they play on a carpet in that? Do I hate the Superdome?
No, you have reasons why you hate the Saints. I got a couple. I mean, Sean Payton was their coach forever. He's a real piece of shit. I think Pete Carmichael sucks. Can we agree on that? So
I'll never. Payton? I shit on Sean Payton all the time.
Because here's the thing. I'll never hear the argument ever that Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, is the reason Belichick had those rings. They needed each other, bad.
Yeah.
But Sean Payton has a Super Bowl ring and all those career wins for one reason and one reason only, and it's Drew Brees. That's how good Drew Brees was.
Drew Brees, he was 7-9 3 straight years.
And Pete Carmichael sucks, and we're figuring that out this year because there's no new weapons really, man, right? Like Shaheed's all of a sudden awesome. Derek Carr is playing like the MVP of the league, and it's because Clint Kubiak knows how to run an offense. Right now, Derek Carr is throwing out with play action like 50% of his dropbacks. They're using more pre-snap motion than any other team in the league. They're using all the cheat codes for Derek Carr. They're moving guys around. That's what you got to do. Like that's why Mike McCarthy had to go away and relearn the game, right? And that's why Matt LaFleur came in and won 13 games 3 consecutive years. Pre-snap, like this stuff matters, man.
I agree.
Yeah, and so now all of a sudden they've scored 40 points. I like the Eagles, though, to cover the 3 because now all of a sudden we're pricing the Saints like a top 5 team in the league after they beat the crap out of Arrowhead High School and the Panthers week 1. And then, like, they should have won that game against Atlanta. They just threw up all over themselves on that final drive playing prevent coverage, and Kirk Cousins had wide open guys to throw to. So I still think the Eagles are going to be fine. It would be a lot better if they had A.J. Brown, but give me Philly. We're getting Philly +3. And now the narrative is they suck because Nick Sirianni. Now, Nick Sirianni does suck.
He sucks.
But I do like Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. And I do think, like the Packers, the teams I think are going to be much better than their current form. Green Bay, because I think it's going to take Jeff Hafley some time, although I worry that, like, Quay sucks in some of the pieces. Run defense.
A lot of people are worried about Quay.
I think Quay's just bad. I think you got to find his replacement, if not this year, next. And then I think the Eagles will be much better. That's a really young secondary. I don't know, though. Those 3 dudes from Georgia on their defensive line might suck. But, yeah, give me Philly +3. I'm not ready to go there with the Saints and Dennis Allen quite yet, but they look good so far.
If it's 3, I would take the Eagles with you, but I'm still thinking the Saints might win.
Yeah, I think the Eagles win this game.
The take that I had on the Steelers was that Mike Tomlin's getting so bored of just being better than 500 all the time that now he's trying to do it with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Steelers have only scored like 31 points, but they've only given up like 13.
Yeah.
Or 16. They have the Chargers at home. They're a 1.5 favorite. You got Harbaugh against Tomlin. I think this is one where I ride the home team regardless. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Me too, dude. And I feel like everybody's going to like the Chargers here, but I think they're going to be – and J.K. Dobbins – like Justin Herbert has 2 straight weeks where he's went under 150 passing yards. I never thought I would say that. It's the Harbaugh.
Well, Tomlin's seen J.K. Dobbins. He's not scared of J.K. Dobbins.
That's what I'm saying, man. He's got the most rushing yards, though, the first 2 weeks in Chargers history. I was shocked to see that with Damian Tomlinson there all those years. But like I said, the Chargers not really throwing the ball, not pushing it down the field. And like you said, the Steelers, I mean, they've seen them. And their defense, when TJ Watt's healthy, they're a top 10 defense. And through 2 games, I always look at yards per rush before first contact, and I like to see really what the offensive lines are doing if they're actually getting pushed. Because a lot of these guys, like some of these guys, the offensive line sucks. They're just breaking tackles all over the place. But through 2 games, the Steelers defense has held running backs. Bijan Robinson, week 1, 0.7 yards per rush before first contact. Ridiculous. Denver's running back 0.5. Then you saw what Bijan did against the Eagles. It was like 4.3. So I just think that that's a really good defense. And Mike Tomlin owns Greg Roman. So I'm with you. I like the Steelers. Steelers might end up messing around and winning that division with Justin Fields. And I have a hot take. I think the plan always was to start Justin Fields. I think Russell Wilson's healthy. Or he's just the goofiest son of a bitch on the planet.
Well, he dresses full suit when he's inactive.
I mean, in the photos, he had the eye shit on, eye glare. Like, what are we doing? Like,
if you're a fan and you wear a full costume to a game, are you actually less douchey than an inactive player still suiting up full on the sidelines? Isn't that a little more douchey from?
I would never be the fan that dressed up, but I get a kick out of it. I usually end up getting drunk and taking pictures with those guys. I don't fan shame, but I do shame the quarterback that's supposed to be hurt that's sitting there in his helmet. Like that reminds you of the kid in high school that is never going to play, but he like thinks that he's the most important part of the team. And it's you'd be cool with it. But like before the game, he's coming up and he's like slapping you in the fucking helmet and the shoulder pads. And you're like, guy, all right, I'm already like, I'm good, man. Like get out of my face. That's Russell Wilson. That's him on the team flight, doing 3-step, 5-step dropbacks. Like, just chill out. What a dork. I don't have room in my heart for hate. Even like weirdos that send me text messages calling me a liberal. Like, I don't even hate them, and I'm not a liberal, so I don't get it. And how did they get my number? I just want to toss that out on this podcast. But I do hate Russell Wilson for everything that he's done to my life. And I hate that Seattle Seahawks team. I no longer hate the Seahawks. But I do hate that version. Earl Thomas, I'll always hate. Richard Sherman, I'll always hate. Pete Carroll, I hope he chokes on that fucking gum. I hate him. But Russell Wilson, I hate him. One of the lowest points of my life. I hate that I have to bring it up even. But when I was sitting there in tears and he was saying, well, Jesus Christ, God wanted me to win this game, I'll never forgive him for that. He's the corniest SOB on the planet, and I hate Russell Wilson. I hate him, and I'm so glad our guy, Justin Strawberry Fields Forever, won that job.
You think it's bad people got your number and are texting you? Some assholes trying to take out a loan in my name the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that happened to me too. I would rather almost have that. At least like I appreciate the hustle of somebody out there trying to scam me out of a bunch of money. I don't appreciate somebody like texting me about Trump, you know? Like I don't even have like leave me alone. I don't tweet about this shit.
I don't tweet at all.
Me either. I hate Twitter.
You tweet all the time.
No, I don't.
I
retweet my promotion tweets.
Yeah. No one tweets for me.
I did tweet out that I
even exist?
I tweeted out that Blake Willis was going to beat the Colts, and I was right when everybody else was writing the Packers off, and they weren't writing back. Kind of like
I haven't felt this irrelevant my entire career, and I'm on a national show.
Kind of how it goes, right? It's a better feeling when you're local.
Yeah,
you feel the connection.
People stop you in the grocery store.
Yeah, national. I mean, you're talking to some truck driver out in like Tennessee, and that's awesome and all, but like you don't know him. You're never gonna.
You don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, like the callers. Like I had drinks with the callers. You know, like I met Cone Roller at Lambeau Field. We took shots together, and one of the other guys, I can't remember which one because I can't keep up with all the names.
You met Cone? I got to meet Cone.
Yeah, I love him.
I love Cone.
Yeah, all right. Great guy. We took some shots. I don't remember what shots we took though. He's really tall in real life, actually, or maybe I'm just fucking shrinking. That could.
Yeah, I think both. You're short.
Yeah.
Buccaneers 6.5-point favorites over Denver.
Oh yeah, I got a take on this game.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really have a breakdown, but Denver's going to win somehow.
So we're in this time of the year where because it's only been 2 weeks. A lot of opinions are like that's why I think the Giants are going to win.
Me too.
Because the Giants' opinion is so like, okay, they fucking suck. But then they go and win. Yeah. And same with Denver. So this is definitely a spot where they can win. But I'm going to take Tampa and to cover.
No, I'm not. I think that they're going to come back. This seems like a perfect spot too, right? Like they won last week as touchdown dogs against a good Detroit team. Now they throw up all over themselves. I'm going to go with Denver here. It sucks it's on the road, but yeah, give me the Broncos. At least the cover.
Plus, if I'm going to use my you suck, but you're going to win ammo, I'm going to give that on the Panthers, 6-point dogs against the Raiders in Las Vegas. Am I crazy to think Andy Dalton's throwing 3 touchdowns?
Yes.
See, because Bryce, here's the thing with that, and this is what I said they should have done.
He might not throw 1.
Bryce Young should have, first of all, to get a new quarterback coach, new scheme, reteach your footwork, new offensive coordinator, 1 series in the preseason. It's okay to use the preseason.
Yeah.
So they should have played him the entire preseason and then said, okay, do we like him? Is he ready? If not, we'll sit him. We'll inverse redshirt him. There's no big deal. But to play him for 2 weeks and then bench him, the Panthers aren't benching him because they think Bryce Young is bad. They're benching him because they think they have a shot at the playoffs if they salvage their season. They are wrong.
Dude, I think they might be benching him because I like legitimately, right? It's almost like you love your son. Like right now, my son wants to be a WWE wrestler. I would never actually really want him to do that profession and break his neck or anything like that. I feel like they may be
benching him to save him.
Yeah, like I think like I've never seen a quarterback legitimately in the NFL want to cry when he threw that last pick. Like tears were coming down his eye. He looks 9 years old out there.
Tears streamed down his face.
Kyler's like a fucking baller, dude, and he's like thick. You know what I mean? Like Bryce looks like your little brother out there. He can't play the position. He's cooked. He's done. He might be. I really mean this. He might be the worst quarterback in NFL history. Like, and we like look at our guys like Tolzien. You know what I mean? I think he really might be.
TJ Rubley.
Look at his numbers compared to Jamarcus Russell. We shit all over. Jamarcus Russell had better stats. Compare their numbers the first 2 seasons. He's awful. Like if if you don't have Sunday ticket and you only watch the Red Zone channel, you probably don't know this because you've only seen him like 3 times. They never crossed the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
3 and out after. He sucks. I can tell you this because I bet that team probably 8 times out of the last 2 years. He's the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. At least the worst top pick.
You know, we're in this era now where Sam Darnold's getting another chance. Baker gets another chance. Geno gets another chance.
Yeah.
Darnold, did I ever say Darnold?
Yeah.
Derek Carr gets another. Like, all these guys are getting another chance.
He won't.
But I feel like Jamarcus Russell should have gotten another chance.
I think the problem was he was drinking the purple drink and that like they were sending him home with film and he wasn't watching it. The talent could have been there, right? I mean, it may have been there with Ryan Leaf, but he was doing drugs and breaking into cars and stuff. Johnny Manziel, I have this take. I think Johnny Manziel would have been a pretty good quarterback in the right system. Like Johnny Manziel,
a lot of these guys could be, but they go to the wrong system, and it's like you only get one shot.
Manziel was drafted. Manziel was in the boom boom room doing snooters until 3 a.m. Still throwing for like 250 occasionally and shit. Like he could still. I think he might have been able to play. He was just too whacked out. But
you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback that if you give him film, he takes it home and watches it. Not goes home and watches all the scary movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to watch the film, not the Wayans brothers.
Exactly. That's the key to success.
I'm still taking the Panthers. I'm going to ride that narrative.
I'm going to take the Panthers at that number too, but I don't think Andy Dalton's throwing 3 touchdowns.
Seahawks play the Dolphins. Seahawks at home 4.5. Dolphins of Skylar Thompson. I think this is a Seahawks move on unless you have anything else to say.
I think the division, if I think they're going to beat out the Niners in the division, they better beat Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins at the crib. I do think the Dolphins might cover. I didn't bet this game because it scares me a little bit. I stayed away.
If I was doing radio in Baltimore this week, I would say, is week 3 a must win for the Ravens? I'm not going to say it's a must win, but I will say it's a can't lose because the Ravens have the Cowboys this week. And then the Ravens have the Bills, and then the Ravens have the Bengals. We've got a realistic shot here that Baltimore could be 0-5.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to lose to Dallas.
You do?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I bet the Ravens under 10.5 wins and the Cowboys under 10.5. So both are a win for me. I think Baltimore wins this week, though.
It's hard to envision them going 0-3, but Mike McCarthy took a year off to live in a shed to scheme for days like this.
Like they're going to play a bunch of Zimmer's going to play a bunch of too high shell, and Lamar's like the one quarterback that could feast on that. And I think this is finally the week where Derrick Henry and that run game are going to take off because the Cowboys can't stop the run. I almost think, man, the Saints still might just be an okay team. They just beat up on, again.
The Cowboys are bad?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys suck. I think we exposed them in the playoffs last year. I mean, look what we did to them. When we were young as shit. That was Jordan Love's first road start. He went in there and he looked like Brett Favre.
Okay, I'll make an amendment. The Ravens will win if one of these topics. I'm confident, and I'm curious, and I'm concerned.
I got it. I'm confident that Harbaugh's a better coach than McCarthy.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if Derrick Henry gets more than 20 carries, then they win. If he gets less, they lose.
I'm curious to see if Jerry lasts the whole 4 quarters in the press box or he leaves to get a hand job or makes his way down to the field to fire McCarthy after the Ravens beat the living.
I'm concerned that I'm going to check online to look at Twitter, and because the Indiana Fever are playing at the same time that this game kicks off, my timeline is going to be flooded with Mike Wickett hyping up Caitlin Clark.
I'm curious if I'm going to have a good enough day betting college football that I'm going to get $1,200 on the Ravens because I think they're going to beat the shit out of the Cowboys actually in this spot.
Rams host the Niners.
Yeah,
favorite. Everyone's hurt.
Yeah, I bet the Rams, but I think the Niners are actually going to cover this one. I think I'm on the wrong.
I still like the Niners. They're going to, it's in LA, which means it's going to be a sea of red. They take over.
Yeah. I like no
What a dumb game. Okay. Cardinals host the Lions. Cardinals are 3-point dogs at home. Dan Campbell got docked so bad he had to move. People were sending repair people to his house to fix things that weren't broke.
He had
to move.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see this. Why?
Yeah, somebody called last night and told me, and I pretended like I knew. Well, I Googled it real quick.
I like the Lions to bounce back. I think that loss was fluky. They were 1 for 7 in the red zone. Last year, they were the best team in the red zone. I think Sam Laporta is going to score an anytime touchdown. But, dude, I've been really impressed with Kyler Murray. He's been awesome. Also, I like Greg Dortch over 2.5 receptions. Kyler Murray is pushing the ball down the field. Last week, on throws 20 or more air yards, was 5 for 5 with 3 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison finally came alive, and I'm happy because he's my fantasy quarterback. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, but I think the Lions bounce back. I bet them on the money line. I didn't take the 3 points. I could see it being a field goal game, but I bet Detroit.
Okay, the Sunday night game is Atlanta against the Chiefs. Atlanta is a 3-point dog. I think the Chiefs could easily be 0-2.
Yeah.
But so could Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. Travis Kelce is getting in the end zone, too.
I'm going to take Atlanta to cover here. Yeah. I thought I was going to be really excited about this Chiefs offense, and now I'm a little worried because Hollywood Brown went from being out like 1 week to now we're not going to see him this year. Everybody loves Xavier Worthy. I actually agree with Cam Taylor-Britt that he just he's like just a vertical guy right now.
Speed merchant.
Has to increase that route tree a little bit. Pacheco's out now. Love Mahomes, but yeah. And I hate Kelce.
I
hate his brother too.
Here's the problem with people when they get to this level. It's like they're very visible.
He's a Hollywood elitist to me now.
Jesus. They're very visible, and the visibility is fine. Where people begin to get overexposed is when they're in too many commercials. Travis Kelce's popping in a new commercial every week for a new brand. That's where, or Jason, and they're getting tied together. Jason Kelce doing a quarter of Monday Night Football is one thing. Him popping up on a Burger King ad or whatever the fuck.
You don't want to hear this, and you don't want to hear when Aaron Rodgers and the boys talk about this, but I think there might be something to these weirdos in Hollywood, and now Kelce's go read the Puff Daddy shit. Look who Puff Daddy's been hanging out with. Everybody's been hanging out with Puff Daddy. So I'm just saying, man, I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. My dad was telling me this when I was in like the 3rd grade and we owned the video store. I'd be like, Dad, Tom Cruise is so cool. He'd be like, Tom Cruise is in a cult and he's a weirdo. And he's 3 foot tall. All these things turn out to be true. Hollywood.
He's not in the Hollywood circle.
Kelce and Taylor Swift, and they're always like partying with all these other goofballs. I don't know, man. Here's when Kelce, because I was actually Team Kelce because I listened to the podcast. I was like, I like these guys. I stopped liking him when he grabbed Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. I get you're competitive and stuff, but like when you're grabbing like a 70-year-old man like that, all hyped up, I don't know. That lost me a little bit. I wasn't into that.
But then you like when Aaron Rodgers shoves Robert Saleh?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Don't you?
So I am going to take the Chiefs.
Robert Saleh is younger than Aaron Rodgers, I think.
Chiefs Falcons got into Hollywood underground rings.
I was just kidding about all that. I don't believe in any of that. I do believe that Puff Daddy is a huge weirdo, though, and I hope that he rots in hell. But yeah,
Jordan Addison is not playing. Breaking news.
Oh, really? It's actually a huge news. But yeah, I like the Falcons to cover.
Monday night, we got 2 games, which is fine because they're on 2 different channels, but they'll do the dumb thing where they put it on split screen.
Damn Hollywood elitist. Sorry, go on.
Bills host the Jacksonville. I can't say the team name.
Jaguars.
Okay, so Bills 5-point favorites against Jacksonville. Bengals 7.5-point favorites against Washington. Does either home team not cover?
Yeah, I think the Jags are going to beat the Bills.
That's a lot more likely than the Bengals are not losing.
I think the Bengals win, but I can't lay like 7.5 with them. The thing is, the Commanders' pass defense is bad. So if Burrow and those guys don't figure it out this week, they're going to win 5 games this season. So they win. But I think the Jags are in desperation spot down 0-2. Yeah, I mean, they're 0-2 on the season. And the Bills are all beat up right now on defense. in the linebacker room. They're still without Milano. They lost Bernard or whatever his name is. So I think the Jags will take advantage of that defense and win this game. So Jags for me, Bengals for me.
All right, I got a FanDuel thing here where you can I
got some guys I like this week.
I get up to 10 shuffles.
Okay.
And I have to lock it in when I like something.
Okay.
And these are receiving props. So the first one I got is Tyreek Hill 4+ receptions. Should I just lock that in or play?
No, I wouldn't play that. I mean, who's throwing him the football?
Shuffle. Okay.
Yeah.
My next one is DJ Moore 4+ receptions.
I kind of like that one, man, because Keenan Allen's still all banged up. Rome Odunze sucks right now. Like, he's the worst out of all these first round.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. They're gonna hit him in the flat. Okay.
Yeah. I think Caleb's gonna have a good game.
All right, good. Yeah, it's a little dumb thing on FanDuel.
Yeah. If you could find any, I'm really high on Chris Olave this week. It's been mostly Shaheed, but he's got a 35% target share, meaning he's still like the first read guy. I think Chris Olave.
Shaheed's just catching 70-yard bombs.
And then everybody from Seattle, if you're stacking, that's the lineup I would stack. JSN, DK against that Miami secondary. Jalen Ramsey, dude, is graded out like cornerback number 35 right now on the perimeter, and he's going against DK. DK is going to expose his ass the same way Devontae did in that playoff game where LaFleur had to break him up. That was awesome. I miss Devontae.
I don't. Ryan Horvat.
You don't miss Devontae?
No.
You are a fucking hater, man.
The Rodgers Devontae era, hated the whole thing.
You wouldn't take Devontae today?
No, because then where are my 0 targets a game to Christian Watson going to go?
I'll take Devontae in a heartbeat. You're a lunatic.
Horvat, you can catch him with Brad Evans on BetMGM tonight on the BetQL network.
Yeah, I have COVID, so I get to work from home tonight, so I'm pretty jacked about that.
You did this show without a mask?
Mm-hmm.
You bastard.
Pretty ridiculous for a lib, right?
One time somebody saw me wearing a mask while in my car.
Oh, God, you were that guy? See, I was never that guy. I did wear...
Well, I was going between Walmart to Festival. It was just right there. Highway 100.
When COVID first came out and I thought it was going to kill us, remember I was wearing gloves into the studio because I was the only person that had to still go to the studio for whatever reason?
I wore gloves. And not a mask.
I thought it was like the movie Outbreak. Like I was going to touch something and melt. Turns out it's just, I feel like ass though. I do feel like just absolute shit. And it sucks because this weekend is so awesome for college football, which by the way,
Oh, yeah, that. You want to give a pick or two?
Yeah, let me just throw out Vandy plus 20.5 against Missouri. So Missouri was in a fight with Boston College last week, man. And they're heading into the bye. And I like Missouri, but I don't trust their defense. They lost 5 starters to the NFL. And like I said, they're going into the bye. Meanwhile, Vandy's coming off a loss. They won their first 2 games. They beat Virginia Tech, who have a lot of people like to win the ACC. But they lost to Georgia Southern last week outright, so they're going to be motivated here. Like I said, Missouri goes into the bye, and then they have their gauntlet of a schedule on the road at Texas A&M, and then Auburn, Alabama, Oklahoma, all the good teams that they have to play this season. So give me them, and then I like Arkansas plus 3, and then I like I hate to say this, I think Oklahoma State beats Utah since Cam Rising's most likely not going to play.
Who do you like in Tennessee, Oklahoma? I'm excited for that game.
Yeah, so, I mean, the number tells you should probably bet Oklahoma, but I cheer for Tennessee every week because I bet Nico Imaliava to win the Heisman at 16-1, and now he's down to 8-1. So if he balls out, I think he might be one of the favorites. I bet him, and then I bet Cam Ward from Miami 20-1. He's the favorite now, plus 450. So I don't bet against Tennessee this season, and I don't bet against Miami. I just cheer for him every week. And I've got 5 straight Heismans, right? So I love those paydays. The end of the year, you're just sitting there and all of a sudden $1,800, $2,200 just pops up in your account and you're like, oh yeah, it's Saturday night. Thank you, Caleb Williams. Thank you, Jaden Daniels. Thank you, Joe Burrow. This year, thank you, Nico Imaliava. Remember the name. He's Colin Kaepernick if Kaepernick could actually throw the football.
Another one of Fondy's finest, Colin Kaepernick.
Hey, he deserves another shot, man.
If Colin Kaepernick would have stayed in Fond du Lac, he would have played soccer for my dad.
I love that story. I'm glad that he didn't stay in Fond du Lac. Oh, you know what? I wish he would have stayed in Fond du Lac because then he wouldn't have rushed for 185 yards and been kissing his fucking biceps all over my team.
By the way, my soccer team is 1-0. We got a big win.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, we need an update every. What was the score?
I didn't keep score.
Pussy.
One dad told me it was 8-2. Another dad told me it was 15-2. So I don't know what these fucking guys were looking at.
Run that score up. Hey, Lane Kiffin runs that score up. He's trying to get Jackson Dart the Heisman and cost me money. That's what you should be doing.
Ryan, it's always good to see you.
Yeah, you too. What position, really quick, what position does your child play? Is he a striker?
They all play scrum.
Did he score any goals, or is he more like the assist man right now?
He scored.
Oh, good. My kid's first soccer game, he got hit on the face-off, the kickoff, right in the face with the ball, and he cried. So
there was one problem because as a coach, you get to be on the field.
Yeah.
And so I was back by the goal, and there was one kid that was on the ground, like clawing at the ball and like holding it and moving it. And nobody saw that. And then he got up and kicked it, and it hit me in the leg right in front of the goal. So the other team's parents were mad at me, but this kid's pushing the fucking soccer ball, man.
Yeah, get it together, dude. Learn the game, right? Grow the game. All right, have a good day.
Grow the game. Thanks, Horvat.
Yeah.